Mom, Dad, I wanted to let you know that I'm dropping out of school and I'm gonna start a rock band. Hey guys, RC here, back with a new series. It's been a while, what, 14, 15 months since my last video. Not back full-time by any stretch, but I did tell you guys back then, I just kind of lost the passion, and I was just off doing a lot of stuff, a lot of catch-up from 4 or 5 years of daily YouTubing. So yeah, just still doing all that, still busy as hell. But came across this game, and I told you guys if I came across a game that really got my attention, that I would consider doing a new series on it. So you might remember I did a series called for a game called Music War Empire sometime back, and actually pretty well received. A lot of questions, a lot of interest in it, it seemed like. But that game, I originally came across that game, not to get too far off base, but through an independent developer, and then that the designer of the game took it away from that independent developer and brought it to Steam and basically quit supporting it. A lot of crashes, and it was an interesting concept, but there was a lot about the game that needed to be fixed. Anyway, this game has been out for about 2 years. The developer is still developing it, adding things and updating it. It has a Discord channel. He interacts on the Discord channel, and it popped up on my Steam feed about 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, interesting, another musical band game. So I downloaded the demo, played it, liked it, went ahead and spent the money to buy it. I've been playing it for 2 weeks, and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do a series on this. So let's get into it. I want to name my band Celtic Lypstik. Now it's different spelling. My primary save, the band's name is Celtic Lypstik, spelled correctly. So we'll have to do something different so it doesn't overwrite my game. And let's go ahead and randomize. You can get in here and design, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with just the randomizer. There we go. We'll do that one. Do like, of course, we're going to be a metal band. That's kind of my go-to. She is going to be a redhead with dark red hair and stunning green eyes. And her name is going to be Murren Sinclair. Good Celtic Scottish name. So Murren is going to be our main character. That's my character. She's the band leader. Now, at this point, we have to pick a couple of things: what instrument and their primary skill. So I know your first thought, I want to write lyrics, or I want to write the music, and I want to be the lead singer. Go ahead and do that. I'm sure it can be done, but what I can tell you is early game, one of the things you're going to do to raise money for you and the entire band is repair gear. And in order of the most gear that you can buy and repair in the game is guitars, drums, and keyboards, in that order. Bass is fourth. Vocals has almost nothing. I rarely ever find vocals. I've done, I think, 5 playthroughs counting my current band, and my vocalist is always broke, always, because there's no gear for him to ever buy and repair. Luckily he doesn't need to buy a lot of stuff, but we have to cover the cost of our bandmates on occasion, quite a bit. And there are random events that happen that cost money, such as felony charges, run-ins with the law, hospitalizations, you name it. And that comes out of your band money. So it benefits you to have somebody that can raise a lot of money early game. So I typically go with the guitar. I am not going to be the backup singer. And skill-wise, these are the 7 skills that are in the game. Playing is how well you can play your instrument, determines how quickly you can learn a new song. We'll want to eventually get that to a minimum of 50 for every character, every band member. Writing music is the riffs, the rhythm, and there's one other one. Anyway, we'll see that, but there's 4 parts to a song. Writing music is 3 of the 4 parts. So we'll eventually want several people that can write music. Writing lyrics is just the words to the songs, and we'll want 1 or 2 people doing that. Stage presence is how good of a show you can put on, and that determines how much interaction you have with the crowd and how much enjoyment they get at a gig. Those 3 skills we will eventually want to be at 70 or higher. Production is how well you work in the studio. It allows you to combine the ideas from your music and your lyrics to get higher and higher ratings. And you start off with a level 1 skill, and they go as high as level 35. So you'll have 1, 3, 6, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35. So we do want somebody that can do production. Not the be-all, end-all. That can take a little bit of, and you can always hire a producer. It does get more expensive, but you can do that. Repair, we are going to want somebody right out of the gate with a repair skill. This is the ability to fix your instruments. And until you have enough money coming in from gigging to be able to afford a guitar tech, a drum tech, a bass tech, you have to repair your own gear. And then business is general business skill. And this gives you the ability to get better contracts or get cut rate pricing when you're buying gear, car repairs, what have you. So all of these are pretty expensive. I am going to start her off with stage presence, and I'll explain why as we get more into the game. So I've picked everything for our character. Now, at this point, you can add the rest of your bandmates by hitting Add Musician, and you can design each one of them. So if you want to copy a particular band, you could do that. What I'm going to do is we're just going to start. So for those of you that have been around the channel for a while, I still have my 2 dogs. They still like to bark. I still have all my cats. And my grandchild is now almost 3 years old. She'll be 3 next week. So she's actually mobile now and loud. So just one more sound in the RC household that you can be sure you'll hear on any recordings I do. Anyway, now she made me forget what I was going to do, but let's get into it. All right, we start off with 13 available attitudes, pairings. We have to choose 10 of those. And then out of those 10 pairs, which is 20 individual, we start with 3 of those 20 attitudes. So let's get into it. Wealth, destitution, travel, hometown pride. I like sports cars, sex you can't go wrong with. I like outer space just for something different. Love and hate. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave love, hate out of this one. Let's go with education, partying, happiness, depression, law and order, anarchy, technology, and nature, and consumerism, socialism. I haven't played with that one before. So let's start off with consumerism. There we go. How about law and order and flat earth, just to rile people up. All right. We'll get into the game here. Now, we have, if you hit the globe, we have Canada and the U.S. We also have Europe. Just to look at the Europe map, it's pretty detailed. Goes all the way out into Russia, up into the Scandinavian countries. Of course, the United Kingdom, Spain, Greece, Italy here, Greece here. I know basic geography in Europe. Don't know. This used to all be Russia. Who knows now? I know Ukraine's over here somewhere. If I dove in and looked at city names, I'd probably be able to pick some out, but not going to be bothered. But being that I am an American, I am going to play in America. As you can see, we've got some Western Canada cities, some over here in Quebec, Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec City. But what you want to do here is you really want to pick a central location to a region. because you're going to have to drive to gigs. You're going to have to look for gigs. You're going to have to look for equipment. We're going to have to drive around and find our bandmates. So it's recommended you start, like, say, Austin. You could get to San Antonio, Corpus, Houston, Beaumont, Waco, even Dallas in short order. I've played in Decatur. You get to Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Chattanooga, Atlanta, Athens, Macon, Columbus. So, pretty easy to get around. One of the things, two things to think about. So find you a central city that is easy to tour from. Macon might be good because look at all the cities around there, right? But I recommend starting in a smaller city. So like Lafayette is a good size. And the reason being, when you get into that city, it's a 4x4 grid. And it's easy to get everywhere. You get into a larger city like or 3x3, then you have a 4x4, 5x5s. Some of the real big cities are 8x8. You can't even see the whole map at one time, and it's hard to tell where things are. So starting in a smaller city, you can drive to other places, not a big deal, but it's easier to do the stuff locally that we're going to be doing daily that gets very repetitious. That way we can do it real quick. Since I thought about it, I was going to start in Lafayette, which is my hometown, but I'm going to start in Macon. So I've played in Decatur. I've played in Nashville. Nashville was a little tough just because Clarksville was really the only thing I could get to in a day. But yeah, I think we're going to do Macon because that basically gives me Charlotte, all the way down to Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Montgomery, Decatur, Chattanooga. So yeah, let's start there. That gives us a huge base of operations. I like the look of that. We can branch out from the southeast, and yeah, there we go. All right, so let's rock. Most of this first episode is just going to be initial setup, getting our band together, showing you a few things, and then next episode is we'll actually jump into moving into the nuts and bolts of the game. I'm not going to use the tutorial, and we'll get the game set up. And we'll start off at our house. So you start off with a house and a van, so that's good. You don't have to buy that. So real quick, this is your customer screen. You can access this just by clicking on your band member. And you notice a couple of things. She's got these plus signs, which is a level up indicator. And the red instrument means that you have some kind of gear problem. Well, our problem is we don't have any gear. So we have $2,000. We are going to buy gear, but let's get into the leveling up. So I mentioned in the start, we want to get playing to 50 so we can learn songs very fast. Writing music, lyrics, stage presence, we want to get to 70 as soon as possible for whoever has that as their primary skill. Production, we want to get, that can level up a little slower, but eventually we're going to want that to get to 20, 30. And the more detailed the songs are, the higher we're going to need that number. Repair, we are going to hire one person that has a repair skill, and then they can kind of help everybody else. And then business, we may or may not have anybody with that skill to start with, and that'll be a point dump later in the game. Now, we don't want to put any points, as important as playing is, do not put any points in playing until you have reached a skill of 20. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. First thing I do with every character is I get them to a 5 repair, and then I dump the rest into their primary skill. Now notice your primary aptitude gets double points. So we started with 1. I just assigned 1 point. Now we have 3 because we got 2 points in our primary skill. We have inspiration. Once you get to 100 inspiration, you'll get a green border. You'll see that in a little while. That gives you a bonus to any ideas that you have when you go in to write a song. Health, of course, if you get sick, that gives you a negative effect to your skills. Happiness, if a band member gets too unhappy, they could quit. And ego. Now, ego for our character doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, and it's always 50. Always. Now, that's on normal difficulty. Might be different on easy or hard. Don't know because I haven't played those. But we want to keep a low ego because you can see high egos require more songwriting inclusion and playing of their songs to stay happy. Let's say you have somebody with a 70 ego, but they're your repair person, so they're not going to be good at writing music or lyrics, so you're never really going to write any songs that have any of their ideas. They're going to get upset about that. And then when you go to a gig, you're not going to have any of their songs to play. They're going to get upset about that, and eventually they could quit the band. So just something to be aware of. That's one thing I will be looking hard at is ego ratings. But that's our character there. So 3 hotkeys. The escape button, so we're here. That brings us back to our main screen. We'll look around the house later. Right now I'm going to hit the X button. That'll bring us outside. And then we can hit the H button from anywhere on the home map in the city that we're in Macon, and that'll bring us into our house. So quick travel, basically. So we're in our van. Let's pull up the map with the M, and you can see we've got a park here in the middle of town, a cemetery, a hospital, and then we've got 5 blocks. Now this is our house, another house for sale. The music note is a record store. The green dollar signs are venues that you could play, that you could do gigs at or go watch gigs. And that's something we will be doing. So we have a music store right across the street. So let's go ahead and head there. Make a U-turn. If you do wreck your truck on normal or hard mode, it does damage and you have to bring it to a mechanic to fix the vehicle. On easy mode, you can slam into a wall like Ann Heck and not have to worry about it. I'm sorry, was that too soon? My bad. All right, let's go inside with the E button. And here's what I usually do. I sort by lowest condition. That way, anything that's in really bad repair will pop up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and buy that guitar, and I want the grandpa's guitar, and that's cheap. I'm going to sort by lowest price just to see if there's anything cheaper, and there is not. But I am, and you right-click to buy, so I'm going to buy that. One of the things that we're going to do to start the game is we're going to busk, which is go play acoustic gigs in the park, and that is where we will get a free playing skill up point up until we get to 20 points. That's why we don't want to put any points in to playing early, because we're going to get free points, basically 3 levels worth of points by playing the busking gigs in the park. So I need that. I am going to need an amplifier, so we'll go back to lowest condition and any effects. So they don't really have anything, but I will need some strings here, and I'm just going to buy the cheapest ones, but I am going to look to see if any of them give me any bumps. So these are the same price, but notice this one gives me +2 to writing. That's going to be okay. That one's actually good, +3 stage presence. So I'm going to buy 2 of those. Should have bought that one. Oh well. That's what I get for not looking through all of them, right? All right, now we're getting up beyond minimum, and I don't want to spend all my money. I started off with $2 grand. I'm down to $1681. So now what we want to do, I've bought my gear. You may not find gear at the first store you go to. Look around. The discount stores is where you're going to find the low-end guitars, the lower-end guitars. I actually own a Jackson Kelly, and I own a Warlock as well. But in fact, this is my guitar right here, a Kelly Black. But don't spend all your money now, because we're going to have to, we're going to have to look around. But if you're looking for higher end gear, then you don't want to come to the discount store. What we want to do now is look for band members. We need 4 band members. Now you can structure this however you want. You can have 1 drummer. You can have 2 guitarists. I think you can have 2 vocalists. But first thing we want to do is to we want to hire someone that can repair gear. So we are going to look around. All right, we have this guitarist, and this is going to be important too. You want them to have good compatibility with your band. So let's hire this person just to start off, and you can see he's got a 15 rating in repair. Not great. It's not horrible. His ego's good, but I'm not sure I want a second guitar player. But it is what it is. I can go with that, but let's look around a little more. We'll come back and visit these people again. And I don't want to buy any busking gear for him yet, just in case I fire him, right? That way we haven't spent any money on somebody that's not going to be in the band. So I'm going to drive. Let's start off to Atlanta. And first thing I was checking was to see how long it would take me to get there. And it's because you want to do a job every single day. So before we get to the point where it says you won't get to your destination till tomorrow, whatever that tomorrow is, then that's where you want to do a job somewhere. So all we're doing right now is looking for band members. And I'm looking for, all right, loves to tinker. All right. Now, if we find somebody else with the tinker repair skill, we can get rid of Guy. So I don't really care. I'm looking more for their relationship with me. I like to fix things, not interested. Some people are going to be too high of a level to join your band. That's all I'm looking for right now is, oh, here's a guitar player that likes to fix things. No. Keyboardist. And vocalist. Okay, now this vocalist really likes me, so let's take a look. So he's got a 49 repair skill. That's great. His ego's 50. That's troublesome, but we're going to go ahead and fire the guitar player. Oh, wow. So if I fire him, then Howard will quit too. Okay, that's fine because I can't have both of them. We'll do that. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to just keep up the hunt. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want to take up the whole video looking, I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to go find all of our band members, and then I'll be back once I've gotten the band fleshed out. All right, we're back in Macon. You can see it's now Tuesday, so I left on Sunday, spent Monday on the road, and we have finally found all of our band members. I went to Atlanta, Athens, Augusta, Savannah, Albany, Montgomery, Columbus, and back to Macon to find my final band, and not the easiest thing. So you will spend a little time. I've gotten lucky and found all the ones I wanted in my first starting city. Lately, I've been having to go around. So let's take a look. Murrin is now level 2. I've gotten her stage presence up to a 9. The second number is with gear. There's gear that gives benefits to stage presence and 1 for playing. And I've gone ahead and put 1 point into writing music. I'm going to have her do riffs and stuff as the guitar player. But she's going to have the stage presence. She's going to be the one we're trying to get to carry the shows in the early days. This is going to be our bass player, Allison Rosas. She joined us. I wish it said where she was from, but anyway, she's 46% of the way to the next level, but she's already level 11. You notice my character's level 2, so my character will level up faster. She's going to be our primary lyricist with a 39 skill. She's pretty well-rounded everything else. She has a little business, a little production, and an ego of 10. Now, one of the things, you can change one of her attitudes right now, and you can see green is a positive attitude for the current climate in music. Yellow is normal and red is negative. So if we just mouse over the little yin yang up here, right now you can see flat earth, technology, and high energy are our positive attitudes. Outer space, nature, and anarchy are our negatives. Now, law and order and anarchy are specific only to Georgia, but nature is not. So flat earth, technology. Let's go ahead and do flat earth with her. And you can see you can do this about once every month and a half. I already have flat earth, so I started off with some good ones. So there's our lyricist, Allison Rosas. Marty Darnell. I thought about doing an all-female band, but that's just too difficult. So Marty is our vocalist. He's going to write music. He's got a 43 skill, so he's already really good. Remember, we want to get that to 70, so he's well on the way. He's got an inspiration of 83. Ego's 37. It's a little higher than I normally like, but because he's going to be my primary music writer, a lot of ideas should be his, so a lot of songs should incorporate his ideas, which should keep his ego in check. The higher that is, the harder it is to keep him happy. So hopefully his is low enough that we can keep him pretty balanced. Even though we can adjust one of his attitudes right now, I'm not going to, because Murren and Allison have positive traits already. So remember, even if it's a negative, isn't a bad thing, because you want to write songs with those themes and kind of have them in your back pocket for when they do become popular. And I think the attitudes change monthly or something like that. So anyway, there is our lead singer. A little beefy, but, you know, that's okay. I'm a big guy. Joyce Valles is going to be our drummer. She is our second drummer. We actually hired a drummer first, and I fired him when I came across Marty. She's going to be our repair person. Not as high as I'd like, but that's okay. This is going to be one of those skills that once it's done, and it happens pretty quickly, that you kind of forget about it. One of the tips is you can hire a person with a good repair, even if they don't get along with your band, even if they have a high ego. And then once your other band members are up to that person's starting level, so like once these people would reach 27 or better, then you can fire them and hire someone else, because at that point you're going to have a better ability and you're going to be able to hire a better replacement. On the flip side of that, once you've gotten to a certain point, it's hard, because let's say you've gotten all your songs up to 100 ability. When a person leaves, they take their percentage of the playing and it drops. So if you've got gigs coming up, you could tank in those gigs and really hurt yourself. So just something to think about. But anyway, she is our repair person and our drummer. And Colby Fry is our keyboardist. We had another keyboardist, when Joyce came on board as the repair person, I fired that keyboardist because of ego and hired Colby. Colby was here in town. We just hadn't looked at him at that time because remember we were looking for a repair person. He actually likes the studio, so he's got an 11 production skill and a 7 ego. So, and again, he's 3 neutral, not positive or negative. So we're going to keep him there, and that way we're writing stuff, you know, in all aspects. So that's our band. If we take a look at equipment, starting at the top, so you have to have an electric guitar, strings, and an amp to start. And that's why you see nobody's instrument is red. And I also have bought an acoustic guitar for Murren, Allison. Now, when you start, all the other band members, when you hire them, they have their own cash, and any expenses like buying gear comes out of their money first, and then taps into the band cash, which is also your character's cash. So it costs your character money, which is why to make money, I like my character to be the guitar player, drummer, or keyboardist, because that's the easiest way to make money. And eventually we'll get effects. And we also have a acoustic grandpas for her. Marty came in with his microphone. That's all he needs. Joyce, she has a Tama Superstar, which is good for writing music, so that's good. She's got some cymbals, drum heads, that's right, drum heads, and a pair of sticks. Now, the sticks are at 56, so these are like strings. They are going to wear out, as will the cymbals. Cymbals are pretty expensive, so, and we have her a grandpa's drum for acoustic work, and then he's got his keyboard, amplifier, and one effect, and then a keyboard for him as well. So while we're out, what we're going to do is we're going to make a U-turn. So it's Tuesday. So gigs happen Fridays and Saturdays. We're going to want to go to gigs just to watch other bands, but maybe not right out of the gate. Maybe not right out of the gate. We want to spend our time building up ourselves. So the reason we're coming to cut the park is you have to cut the park before you can busk. So we're going to cut the grass today. That's going to be our job. And we got $250 for that. Now we're going to go home using the H key, remember? And here's our house. So we've got the living area, and eventually we'll have stuff to put on the walls. You can buy stuff. Here's our kitchen. Got a little sitting area in here. There's the bathroom. The door does not open. In here, we've got 2 work areas. We've got the desk where we can name the house or sell it if we want to move and buy another house. Just to give you an idea of this basic house, where we can sell it for $90, I think looking around in my other saves, they're about $225,000. And at the bed, we can save the game, which I'll go ahead and do here just to get a save in. And this is the only, here or in a hotel is the only place you can save. So save whenever you come home, just in case. You can rest, which will end the current day. You won't have to do that very often, seriously. And vacation is if you want to go away and I guess like recuperate. This is the big room. So this was empty, and if I would have shown it to you first, but now that we've got all of our band members, all of our practice gear is in here. So we've got our practice drums, the bass amp, the guitar amp, and the keyboard with the amp for that. The vocalist with his monitor over there. So what we want to do first, we've done a job. And I always do the job first, if I remember, because you're going to put wear and tear on your acoustic instruments by busking. So now we're going to come in and we want to repair, and you can see all of our gear. And the green is if it's what you're using for practicing or writing. The blue is, the green is for writing music. The blue is for practicing, and the red is for live gigs. So eventually you'll have some gear that is only used. You may have 3 different sets of gear. One of the things, and we'll see this as we go around, I only buy the low condition stuff. I've never had an issue with not having some of the best gear in the game eventually, even in the early going. I'm not interested, Kat. Not right now. Go away. All right, so it defaults to Joyce because she has our highest repair skill. So what I want to do is I want to start with one of our off people, and we want to go with one of the higher ones. And you can see she failed all 5 times, but she got experience all 5 times. So then we're going to go to the next guy, pick another high number. All right, now he succeeded once, but he got experience for all of those. All right, and we're just going to do this and repeat. Now we want to go to Marty. Oh, did I? Yeah, I used the wrong person. Doggone it. All right, so that's what we've done. So we've done all of our repairs. What you want to try to do, what I screwed up on, is Joyce. You want to use her, especially when she gets higher, probably around 40 on the red ones, to boost them up to where your other people can't break them. I'm going to kind of leave these alone right now, just because I don't want them to break. So that's something we're going to have to deal with. All right. We have to maximize our days. We've done our job to make some money. We've repaired our gear to get experience points. And now we're going to, we could either write a song, practice, or we can go to a recording studio and record a song, actually put it down on a master tape to make a CD with. We can't practice anything because we don't have any songs, right? So we're going to go in and write a song. And you can see we've had 48 new ideas added into our pool. So the first thing I want to point out, they have this little number in the corner, right? This is how many days before the song, that idea is forgotten. Now, what you can do is if you end up with a really good one like this 10, we can bank that, which means it'll never be forgotten. It'll stay there, and we can utilize that at any point. But first thing we want to do, we don't want to write a song just yet. We want to go in and develop our ideas. So remember, who was our producer? Here we go. It was Colby. He's got an 11 in production. So he's going to be the guy that kind of leads us here in the practice studio when we're writing songs. So what we're going to do is we're going to look to combine some of our ideas. So the lyrics, if they're green, that's a positive. If they're red, that's a negative. And if they're white, that's a neutral. So we've got a couple of currently positive ideas. And let's see, I'm trying to see. There's two ways you can do this. You can click on each one till you find one that you can, like right there. So we have two that light up. We can combine these. Now, these are sixes. I can't combine those because that would take 12 points. And I will show you. That takes 12 points. So whatever the combination is, we only have 11. That's where a higher production skill is going to help us out. But let's see if we can find a 1. And then I'm clicking on them each, but I want to show you another short, like right here. All right, now, what do you notice about these two pieces? They both have the circle on the left and the square at the bottom, and both ideas are from the same person. Those are the three things that you have to combine pieces. All right, now when we're combining just anything other than lyrics, you'll notice this has a difficulty of 8 and a difficulty of 4. So there's two ways you can do this. You can highlight both and hit the space bar, or in the most recent update, he input a click and drag. And watch what happens. We're going to combine these by dragging on top of each other, and they've combined into a 3-piece with a 6 difficulty. So we had an 8 and a 4, so you get the average. So if you have one that's real high, like down the road we'll have something with maybe a 30 or 40 difficulty, we can combine it with a 1 difficulty and end up with a difficulty in the low 20s, right? And that makes it easier for the band to play. So what I usually do is I kind of just roll through here. Now you notice these have the same cutouts, but they're 2 different numbers and 2 different people. So that's 2 reasons they will not combine at all. All right, these 2 right here, and this is a good one because it's a lyric, so it can show you something else. So Allison has written both of these ideas. One is a flat earth song, one is education. Now, flat earth is the positive right now. So let's go ahead and take that. And what happens is whatever one you drag, whichever one you're picking up, in this case, flat earth, the new idea, even though you have 2 ideas, is going to become a flat earth idea at level 3. If I did it the other way and went this way, then it would become a 3-tile, but it would be an education song. So in this case, I want the flat earth, so let's do that, and there you go. So we put that in there, and we have 7 points left. Here's an example where we have 2 celibacies and a depression that all match up. So what you may want to do down the road is if you have one that expires in like 1 or 2 days, when you combine it, it becomes a new tile, and you get the whole 14 days again. But let's go ahead and keep it on celibacy right there. And I can do some more lyrics, but let me see if I've got anything down. Yep, Murrin has, and here's a good example. So I have a 9, a 10, and a 6. So let's take the highest one and the lowest one, and that came out to an 8. So it dropped the overall difficulty while giving us a better idea. All right, and nothing else there, so let's just see if there's all right, Joyce has this one. They're both climate change, and you can see I've got 1 point left, but I can't do anything with just 1 point. So now we want to go in and write a song with this. Let's go ahead and see if I use my 10 lyric. Then I can use a 3 and a 6, and that leaves me a 1. All right, so that gets me to a song quality of 20. Actually, not a bad first song. A lot of times I write a 4 quality with 4 1 pieces, but you know, I had the pieces. However, let's go and use maybe a 6, but then that leaves me that. So that's only an 18, right? Not good. If I use that 6, that's going to cut me out there. I use that 6, then I'm still back to just 1s. All right, so let's use the 3, the 6. That's going to be the best song we can write. Now, what's going to happen is Murrin's written 2 of these pieces. That's our character. Marty has written 1, and Allison has written 1. And so that's going to give us a 20 quality song with a 26 difficulty to play. Then we need to figure out low, medium, or high energy. You basically want 12 songs that eventually you want a catalog of 12 songs that you're rotating as you're writing better songs or new albums. You want basically for every 12 songs, you want 2 low, 4 medium, and the other 6 to be high. So we're going to start off with high. And that's a good song title, Recombined, because we recombined some ideas to get these better pieces. And we're going to write that song. And the 3 people that were involved in those ideas got experience points. And you can see we've gone to the next day. Everybody's repair has reset. And Murren has leveled up. Now, we are still at 1 playing skill. We haven't busked yet. We're going to do that today. So I'm just going to I'm going to do 1 into music and all the rest into stage presence. So let's cut the episode here. I will come right back with the next episode. We'll go out and do our busking. And as I said, I'll show you kind of everything in the course of episode 2 that we'll do on a day-to-day basis. This week, I'm going to focus on writing songs every day because remember, we need 6 songs to start playing gigs, and then we need to practice those songs. So we've got to spend the time, and then next weekend, so if we click on the calendar here, so the 13th and the 14th, we're going to go out and view some gigs, probably here locally. So we've got 2 places having gigs on the Friday and 3 places on Saturday. Let's go ahead and go to, we'll set this as a reminder for that venue. That's a 300 venue. That's a 700 venue. So yeah, neither one of those are real good for us. But we'll already be at Sasha's. So let's do the 300 venue. What we're going to be doing that is we'll meet the other bands that are playing. We'll start developing relationships with them that can help us get gigs later on. Also, the bars will be more apt to hire us for gigs. And so that we're going to start laying the groundwork. So you can see they're blue on the calendar. That's just to remind us that we want to go there. If we actually went there and signed up to play a gig, we'd get the coloration, but it would be green. Well, guys, hit the like button. First video in a series. That's always helpful. So like and subscribe. Look forward to communicating with a lot of you guys, my long-term subscribers. A lot of you guys have stayed in contact with me over the last year, and that's been great. I really appreciate that, and I look forward to catching up with you once again here in this series, Rising Star 2. Again, there is a demo over on Steam if you want to check that out, and the game wasn't too bad. I don't remember how much it was, like 20 bucks or something like that, so not too bad. Guys, keep on rocking, and we'll see you next time. Bye.